Yeah, we're gonna play Donkey Kong for the Game Boy. One of the most exquisitely perfect games of all time, in my opinion. And we're going to play it with Super Game Boy colors because this was a milestone for the Game Boy. It was the first video game that was compatible with the Super Game Boy attachment. You attach this little cartridge into your Super Nintendo, and then you put the Game Boy game inside that cartridge, and you are able to play with some semblance of color, as you can see here. This kind of limited color palette, which was the first step toward color handhelds for Nintendo. And you're asking, maybe, if you've never played this game before, why do you need a save file for a game based on the original arcade Donkey Kong, which only had 4 levels? Why do you need a save file for 4 easy levels? Well, the fact is, you need a save file because there are far more than 4 levels. And we are going to see that amply demonstrated even in today's first video, which starts out just like the original arcade game did. I think he's actually saying Mario there, and for some reason, on the version I've got here, Pauline doesn't do her little screens, but okay, yeah, just getting re-familiarized with the controls. Ha ha ha! You can't do that in your daddy's Donkey Kong. I'd like to see you try that, Steve Weeby. Yeah, we're going to be blowing through these first levels like cake, and if you've never played, you might be like, how are you doing all that crazy backflip stunty stuff? Well, we'll explain it as we get going later on, but some things we're not going to be able to just... Oh, holy cow, I just almost ate Fireball. Ah, crap, 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 crap! Yep, you can get torched by fireballs, and it's pretty easy to do that, especially if you're just hanging around on a ladder, waiting to get to the top of the level. And that was completely pointless, apparently, to go ahead and go for that, but I'm going to go ahead and go for it, just so I can give myself another leg up on lives. And that's probably ill-advised if they're both over on the... Yeah, I don't want the hammer. You can throw away the hammer. So many improvements made in this game that I cannot even begin to touch on here because it would just be getting way too far ahead of myself. But we are already halfway through the original arcade levels. Nothing suspicious happening yet. Now we're on one that always gave me trouble in my childhood when I played Donkey Kong Classics on the NES. But now you don't fall just from falling too... You don't die just from falling too far, which is all too easy to do in that old game. Yikes. Buzz much? You get on up there. 75 meters complete. And you see the game is keeping track of the amount of time we take to complete a level. That's going to translate into points later, which will earn us 1-ups, as you'll see. I'll explain that briefly. But now, it's backflipping time. Aw, crap. Could have done that flawlessly, but I'm done. And see, you don't die instantly from falling too far like you did in the old NES Donkey Kong. There are levels of falling in this game. If I fall from a little too far, Mario will basically just roll. Oh god, oh god. Okay, this is getting a little tricky, but yeah, he just blew it. Yeah, there we go. Get that 1-up to save the day. And those of you who like it when I get 1-ups, you're in for a treat on this game. And there we go, we've beaten it. It's all completely over, and we beat it. We can move on to the next game. Or not. In this version, Donkey Kong runs off with Pauline for yet more adventures. That's way slower than I usually beat that level. But you see, now it's going to add up all the times that it took to beat the level, and it's going to give us a total. And for every 100 seconds total that we have, for every 100 seconds there, we're going to get extra lives. And this little cutscene here basically explaining how keys work. We're going to use keys to get to the exit of each level. These little cutscenes are usually instructional. Sometimes they're fun, but oftentimes they usually show you a little move that comes in handy or a concept that's about to be introduced to you in the coming levels. But as you can see, we already have a whole whopping 8 lives. We're going to be racking up extra lives like crazy in this game. Yeah, we'll go ahead and save, and now here we are on the big city. Donkey Kong making his way toward the top of the tallest building in town, as is giant monkeys want typically. Jeez. But yeah, this is a pretty basic level layout right here of the new kind of the new quote-unquote kind of level you face in these enhanced additional Donkey Kong levels. You see we have the usual trinkets like the... you can't kill him that way. You see we have the usual trinkets like the parasol, the hat, and the purse. Normally, in the arcade game, you just collect those and they give you points. But here, in these extended levels, if you collect all three, you go to a bonus game. And there's one of two different types of bonus games. You gotta take the key to get to the exit. You can also throw away the key. You can press the B button to throw away items that you're holding onto. You see, when you've let go of the key for a while, it'll start blinking. And if it stays blinking too long out of your hands, it'll go back to its original spot. Its little bold bordered shadowed spot there, and you have to go pick it up again. And this time we're going to take it to the exit. And since we got an odd number time to finish with, we're going to play the slot machine game. There's two different kinds of bonus games, and which one you play is contingent on whether you beat a level with an odd-numbered amount of time left on the clock or an even number. But when I do the bonus games, which is rare, I'm hardly ever going to do the bonus games. I should let you know that now, because it's way easier to rack up one-ups just by finishing levels quickly and getting one-ups every 4 levels when they show you a cutscene. But when I do play the bonus games, I like to play the slot machine because there's a greater chance at extra lives there. That's worth a big fat nothing, though. You can also get nothing. The other game, you're guaranteed at least 1 extra life, but in the slot machine, it's possible to get no one-ups. So I'll get everything here and show that one to you as well. And now here we have ropes. Ropes, you hold the up button, and you just swing back and forth, back and forth, back and forth until you're going faster and faster, and then you press the A button to launch yourself. And you can go way high in the air that way. But you have to press up to hang on to the rope, and Mario, once again, proving he's an amazing athlete because he can just, 1, force himself at will to spin on a rope, and 2, no matter how fast he spins, he doesn't get rope burn on his hands. Just another way in which Mario is the consummate athlete. Mr. Fat Plumber, the greatest athlete in the world. This one involves climbing up a little. You have to learn how to throw your key to get up the ladder and make your way through. Alright, and let's make sure the time is even numbered here. And that way we can play the wheel game, which, again, in that one you're guaranteed at least 1 extra life. And here we have a chance at 3 one-ups. That's not always the case. Let's see how far we get here. Alright, 2 one-ups. That's not too bad. But beyond showing you those bonus games, I'm not ever going to play them again except by accident, because I like making lives just by beating levels as quickly as possible. Like so. I'm not even going to bother with the hammer here. I'm just going to go ahead and make my way up. Ah, crap. By hitting my feet on a trash can. That's awesome. And that trash can was actually the kind that walks. You know, the kind that exists in real life every day. They probably do in Japan, actually. They probably have a walking trash can that just comes up to you and asks you for your garbage. And the only thing we gotta really watch out for is that little spark. Ah, crap. That's the second level of falling right there, is hurting your ankle. Keeps you down a little longer than if you roll, but it still doesn't kill you. The third level of falling is what kills you, when Mario plummets onto his head and dies of blunt force trauma. Alright, through the door. And there's some kind of little buzz going on every time I beat the levels. It's like this really bassy buzz. Now, every 4th level, you face off against Donkey Kong. In a level like this, it's not the last level of the world. It's going to be just getting to Pauline in one piece. And this is one of the ways in which Donkey Kong will try to stop you. He will occasionally jump up in the air and cause garbage to come floating down. And you can deflect this garbage. You don't just have to run away from this stuff. You can actually... oh crap. You can actually deflect it by doing a handstand. You hold down and press the jump button to go into a handstand. And you can block that stuff with your feet. But we're at the end of the level, so Donkey Kong was unsuccessful this time. Time to take Pauline off for more adventures. I like the backgrounds in this game too. They're very sparse, but they're very accurate to where you're supposed to be. Now this little cutscene is going to teach us how to use temporary roads, which, again, is probably a hint that we're going to be using them very frequently in the levels to come. The cutscene guy sets his road very slowly and meticulously. I'm just like, bleh, goes here, and we use it, we run across it, and we don't waste any time. Alright, and you also get a 1-up for whatever points you have left. If you have points left after 100, like if you have 29 points left over, they still give you a 1-up. They're just basically trying to clear out your timer points. Alright, now let's move on to stage 1-5. We're going to cut through this game pretty quickly, a world a day, so it's not going to be too bad. And now I'm going to use a dirty little trick here. I'm going to land on this guy and go ahead and use the road here. And I'm going to keep these guys away from me by setting the road up so that they have a ceiling to walk on. These are, you can see, ceiling walking enemies. And I pick up my key and I walk across, and we have until the end of that little do-do-do ditty. And then the roads will disappear, and whatever roads we have set up will go back to their original spot, just like a key would. And we are going to be using multiple roads quite a bit to our advantage. Like, I can set a ladder here. I'm going to go ahead and just set it away from the purse, because I don't care about bonus games. What is that annoying little hum? And you still get points for that. But see, if I make it to the next ladder, if I was to make it to the next ladder, which I did before the other one disappears, the other one stays in place still. And we're going to have to remember that a lot later. We're just going to wait for him to cross under. No point in trying to jump over and go around him and stuff. But now we're going to have multiple things out at once, which is going to come in really handy. We're going to set the road and then the ladder. And we're just going to go ahead and grab the hat because we can, because we're awesome, whatever. Now, little Easter egg, if you finish a level with more than 150 seconds left on the clock, Mario will shut the door on his way out. I think it's 150 or more, actually. So on to 1-7 then. We're slowly making our way up Citibank Tower or whatever this thing is. And we have two different means of conveying ourselves to the top. The rope is kind of a waste of time, so we're going to go down here. We want to set our ladder here so that we can get the key, and little goofy mug face needs to get out of our way. And it's not necessary for that ladder to be there, but we just got to the road in time, which we need to set approximately right there. Ride our way up the ladder, and another easy single screen level down. And oh man, there was a possibility of dying by falling in uphill on that one, oh my gosh! And now for every final level in the world, you have to throw 3 barrels at Donkey Kong. He's going to toss the first one straight down, wait until the barrel has landed, then pick it up, and you can toss it up at him. I held the up button to give it that little arc, which is generally the best way to kill him. Wow, I can't believe I got credit for that. That was actually pretty awesome. 3 barrels. Easy, easy, easy. It gets harder later because there will be environmental factors in our way, but the big city, not a hard first world, not much of a learning curve, but now we're going to move on to the forest, and that's going to do it for us today. And because the total blinked there, that means I've set a new record for the total amount of time. I went very fast, I sped through those levels, and I've now set a record for that little 4-level set from 1-5 to 1-8. And the game records those records, and you can try to challenge yourself by beating those records and whatnot. And the game just showed us how to use switches. Those switches sit there and they turn certain things on and off, and we'll be using those tomorrow in the forest, which not a much harder world, quite frankly. It's about as easy as the big city was, except that there are 12 levels in it instead of 8. So we're going to be moving on to bigger worlds, sunnier skies, and greener pastures. So let's put the big city behind us, mark all the worlds with an M. And now it's going to bling 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 and take us to the forest. Wow, that's pretty lush for Game Boy colors. That's not bad, actually. Wow, I'm kind of glad I decided not to play this game in old gross monochrome gray. Well, we're going to stop there, and we're going to take in stage 2-1 tomorrow, so I'll see you guys then.